this slot. So we've just got the all clear and taking off. Now this is one of those aeroplanes that you either love it or you hate it. I think, and a lot of other people do as well, it's such an ugly aeroplane. But actually once it gets in the sky, it doesn't look too bad.
He obviously knows you. Yeah.
And so I'm going to hand you over to Steve, who's just going to tell us a little bit about the aircraft, and then I'm going to let him then just fly and talk me through what he's doing. Because he said to me earlier, he said, well, I can talk and I can fly, but I can only do half. I can only do half as well on both of them if I'm trying to do both together. So have a little bit of information and also actually see it really put through its paces as well. So over to you, Steve.
Wind them across, Stu. Right, we're just going to take a couple of circuits a little bit higher while they come across with the Spitfire. Stuart, let them come across with the Spitfire, please. Okay. Right, so what we're going to do, this aircraft was designed as this aircraft was designed as a ground attack aircraft, so it was quite used to coming in quite low, in quite gusty conditions like we've got. Real aircraft, very strong aircraft. You'll notice it's got quite short wings. This was so that it could use roads as runways and fit between the lampposts. Kind of scary thought that you could be somewhere quite hostile and find one of these coming whizzing down the road. The full-size aircraft, very manoeuvrable, like I said. What would be considered by model aircraft terms to be underpowered. As you can see, it still climbs quite quickly, even though it's not got all the power. This was so that it could get in and out of quite tight sites. The main reason that it's the shape that it is so that it could loiter like this, and it would hover around in the sky, acting as forward controls for the guns or anything like that. It would keep an eye on troops to make sure they were safe under the ground, underneath them. And as you can see, with a fairish headwind, it actually hovers, and it would just be staying around, loitering around like this. And then if it saw anything on the ground, such as a downed aircraft like the Spitfire, and the pilot was about to be attacked, down it would come, and it would have a little pop at the forces going towards the pilot that was downed. You saw them surrendering there, they put their hands up. Right, the other thing that this aircraft, like I say, it could loiter. It also, if you notice, when it's coming head on at you, there's two little wings under the fuselage sticking down. They're full of cannons. That made life very uncomfortable for anybody on the ground that they were pointing at. And as Sharon said, this aeroplane is extremely ugly. And it's a bit of an acquired taste. I think it's a Marmite aeroplane. The other thing that's frightened me one of the first times I saw it, it's very rare you fly an aeroplane with the tail or any component that's higher than the rest of the aeroplane. So you notice in certain conditions you get a shadow from the tail go over the wing. And I actually thought something was falling off the first time I saw something move over it. So now we're just having what would be for the pilot, a quick look round, scouting round. You know, the sides of the cockpit are bulged out, so the ground observer, the guy in the back, can see. Besides this, it was also used as the American military sort of transit van. Behind the rear pilot, the observer, was a space for two medical stretchers. They could also put 4 paratroopers in there and take the dome off. And to release the paratroops, because it was such a tight space, there wasn't room for them to run and jump out. They just used to fly in like this. And if they were attacking HMS Woodspring, as we call it, because it's surrounded by the rivers, they'd come in like this. The pilot would warn them, then literally he would pull up vertically like that, and they would literally fall out of the back. And then the pilot would have to give full down elevator to make sure he didn't stall. Right, Now we've gained a little bit of height as well. This is the other nice thing about this aeroplane. Most large aeroplanes, there isn't a lot of things you can do other than fly around in circles. This thing's actually quite aerobatic as well. So you can come in, you can hear the next aeroplane starting up. So we'll cut this bit a little short, dive for a little bit of speed, pull up into a loop. I was speaking with a real pilot of one of these. He said he enjoys this part of the flight. Now you saw the shadow go over the tail, from the tail over the wing. It's also, you can roll it. That's also quite useful for the rear observer to see what's going on. We're now going to do a very tight turn, come by just to check all the wheels are coming down in the right order, because they're a little bit reluctant to come down at times. So we're just going to come down, and we're flicking the switch now. And there's the nose wheel. We should get the right wheel next. And we're getting no wheels. This is beginning to worry the pilot somewhat now. Up there's the left wheel, just to be awkward, just to prove the aeroplane's got a sense of humour. And there's the right wheel. Now I'm going to break off and actually land.
So I'll take over and let Steve actually concentrate on the landing, which is one of the most complicated parts of the flight, really. The planes always come down, they are always going to land, but obviously you just want to make it as pretty and as gentle as possible. And got the landing there on 2 wheels, just saving the tyre on the nose wheel. Just please give Steve a very big warm